What's up, y'all? Tactical Swede here. Going to be doing hopefully a quick video on changing out some parts on the AR-15 here. I was going to be doing 3 parts, but I already changed out the grip here. I changed out the stock grip with the Magpul MOE. Unfortunately, I don't have my Allen key here with me to do it again, to change it out, but it's pretty simple. Inside of the grip, you're going to see an Allen screw in there. Allen wrench, pull it out, slap the other one on, put the screw back in. Simple R-square there. So next thing we're going to do is the stock. Changing out the stock one here with, again, the Magpul MOE. So this one's actually pretty simple. We are just going to, on the lever here for the adjustment, you're just going to pull back the other way down, and it's going to slide right off the tube. And then same thing with this one, you're just going to slide it on, and then this little pin right here you're going to pull down all the way. Slides right on. Simple change. Like this stock much better. It's nice and lightweight. Easy adjustment. Not a whole lot of movement in it. Really nice stock. Now on to the hard part. We're going to be doing Magpul ASAP single point sling adapter. What's involved in that is taking the castle nut off of here, taking the stock back plate off, and swapping it with this one. So for that, you're going to need an AR wrench or a spanner wrench, if nothing else, a spanner wrench. There are other ways of getting that castle nut off if you don't mind dicking up your rifle and having scratches and nicks on it. I'm going to do it the right way with the right tool. So you can buy a simple spanner wrench for this, but this one's got pretty much every tool that you would need to do maintenance on an AR. It's got a barrel nut tool, muzzle device. It's even got a beer bottle opener on there for the most important tool on here. All right, so let's get into this. All right, first things first, we're gonna break down the rifle. Get your takedown pins. Separate the 2 receivers. And this is basically what we're going to be working with. So for this, I'm going to take the buffer and buffer spring out. You could take the stock off, but I'm not going to. Now, another thing that would be nice to have here that I don't have is a vise block. We're going to see what we can do without it just by doing it by hand. Okay, so we broke that loose. Going to loosen your nut there. Now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to start spinning your buffer tube out. But one thing to remember, as you start spinning the buffer tube out, your detent here is going to pop out with a spring. So just be careful that you don't let that go flying. So good to keep a finger on there so when it does finally pop loose, it's not going to go flying. Detent your spring. And as I say that, I was going to get to something else. There's another little spring in here that as I popped the tube loose, it went flying. So I got to go find that now. Be back in a minute. Alright, so what I was talking about there, if you can see right there, there's a little hole. Inside that hole is your detent and detent spring for the takedown pin. So as you loosen this up, make sure that doesn't go flying. Alright, so now we'll continue taking the buffer tube out. And slide the old back plate off. Alright, now that we've got everything back off, your new ASAP is going to go right there, but you got to remember, we got to put that detent spring back in there. So we're going to get that in there, and then start putting this back on. Now, one thing you're going to need to remember is you get these two little pins that are going to basically lock into this channel here. There's two of them. They're slightly different sizes. You got a long one and a short one. I don't know how well that's going to show up. The long one is for a commercial buffer tube, and the short one is going to be for your mil-spec buffer tube. On this we have a mil-spec, so we're going to use this short one. Alright, now before you install your ASAP plate, you want to make sure you got your pin, your detent, and the detent spring installed, because once the plate's on, you won't be able to get them in there. You're going to want to start screwing your buffer tube in. Now what I would do, so you don't have to keep holding this, because there is spring tension that's going to try and push that back, slide that nut up to help hold it in place. Now that we got that holding in place, we're going to get our detent for the buffer and buffer spring. I'm going to slide that down in there, and what you're going to want to do, push that down and then screw in your buffer tube until it holds it in. And what I'm doing is just slowly loosening that nut so I can keep tension on that back plate as I screw in the buffer tube. Alright. So now you can see there, the buffer tube is now holding in the detent pin. And now comes the fun part. Getting this little bad boy in there. Alright, so what you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to loosen up this nut again. So you want to remember to keep pressure on the plate so the spring tension from the detent spring doesn't push it back up. Now, we're going to try and get that pin down into that slot in there. It's hard to see, hard to get on camera, but this is going to be a pain in the butt, so I'm probably going to do it off camera so I can hold it in front of me where I need to see it. And I'll be back in a few. Alright, we're back. We'll see if the camera can pick this up. I took the stock off just to see if you can get a better view of this. But right there is where that pin, it lines up with the slot in the ASAP plate, and then also lines up with the lock with the slot in the buffer tube and locks it in place so it can't rotate. Once you get that in there, like that, you're going to tighten your nut down, and we're good to go. Start to put it back together again. Alright, so as you can see now, buffer tube can't rotate because it's got that pin in there locking it in place. Alright, got her on there nice and solid. Slap our stock back on here. Slide the buffer tube, or the buffer spring and the buffer back in. Give it a little function check. Works like a champ. And there you have installation of, although we didn't see it, the MOE, Magpul MOE grip, MOE stock, and the Magpul ASAP single point sling adapter. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. Maybe we'll do some shooting this weekend and get you another video out. Till then guys, live life and have fun out there.